Hello, welcome to Sound and Fury Book Reviews. As usual, I am Tina. Today I'm doing my October wrap up and my November What's Up, which is a video where I talk about what I read in October, you guessed it, and what I'm reading in, you guessed it, November. I'm also going to talk about the Trick or Treat-a-thon just briefly right now. So that was a readathon I did this month in October. Basically, there were prompts assigned to each book that I read. I had to pick them ahead of time to make a bingo board that you can see here. As you can see, this is the number of books that I read. I'm missing a key one, number 6. I'm not looking at it right now. I'm trying to remember. I think it's number 6. Anyway, the one right there where, Andre Norton, she screwed me over. So the book I reviewed a couple days ago, The Year of the Unicorn, the back cover makes it seem like it's like a competition style book, which is what the prompt was for, but it's not what that is at all. It also wasn't a sci-fi fantasy, just a fantasy, so I couldn't even review it as a classic sci-fi. Anyway, Andre Norton, I still love you, but come on, you ruined everything for me. So I read some books this month that I'm not going to talk about in my list of books that I read this month because I haven't reviewed them yet. I'm going to review them next month. I did this mainly to get prompts done for the readathon, but also because next month I've kind of bookmarked myself to do some writing of my own because I'm working on a novella that's almost there. It's almost there. And I also have to do my self-published science fiction competition judging reading. So I'm going to block off some time in my life to do that. So that meant doing some book reviews ahead of time. All that nonsense aside, let's go through the books I read in October. I'm going to go through them based on kind of which ones I liked the most, and I'm going to give you kind of my star ratings, even though I find star ratings a little bit arbitrary, just kind of to put things in perspective. So the book I liked the least was actually The Year of the Unicorn. It was a little bit dull. It's kind of like a solid 3-star read, but I've read other Andre Norton books that were way more engaging than this one, though I did like the main character. Next we have a whole bunch of four-star books. They're good books, entertaining, they just weren't like my favorites. So The Luminous Dead, this was the book pick for the Interstellar Book Club. I am so tired today. I didn't get like any sleep. Anyway, so we're going to be doing the live show, which is like an anniversary live show for the IBC on the 3rd. So please check that out. We're going to be having like a reading Jeopardy. I'm so excited to take part in that. We're going to talk about this book in detail too. So that'll be my review of The Luminous Dead, unless people really want me to review it on my own, but I wasn't planning on it. I liked it. I thought it was fun. I thought it was a bit repetitive, but I really like that author. Actually, she's grown on me quite a bit. I've read 2 of her other books as well. Then I read, the next one would be Satellite Image. Really interesting kind of domestic suspense. I just found that the ending was kind of lackluster. The ending could have been a bit more punchy or interesting, but everything leading up to that was great. I really liked it. Absolutions. This is Jeff Vandermeer, the prequel for the Southern Reach trilogy. Again, I really liked it. I didn't love it. The 3rd section of the book I found actually kind of awful. I really hated the main character, and I really didn't like the writing style in it. I just found it annoying. The first 2 sections were engaging and fun, so yeah. Next was Not Even the Sound of a River. I really liked this. It was moody and atmospheric. It was Canadian, which I liked as well, because I'm Canadian. I like to support my country sometimes. It was just kind of very... I like historical literary fiction a lot, actually. So I've been kind of getting more into that lately, maybe because I'm getting old. Next, we have all the 5-star reads. So we have Blue Light Years, which is about a woman and her daughter, mainly the daughter, being away at school, and the woman's back home in Brazil, and it's about them basically just like their conversations they have. And so we learn a little bit about kind of their lives, but it's more about kind of their relationship. And I thought it was really nice. It was really kind of soft and gentle and very like nothing traumatic, nothing dramatic. It was just like a kind of a slice of life story, and I really liked it. Next was The Bloodless Princes. I'll just put the picture up here, which was the sequel to The Fireborn Blade. This is a novella, fantasy, very fun, kind of underworld story like Orpheus and Eurydice. It's very fun. I really liked it. The Dragon Kings of Oklahoma. This book surprised me. I mean, it didn't surprise me. I knew what it was going into it. It surprised me as much as in that I liked it so much. It was so fun. Basically, it's set in a world where everything is the same except that there's magic and these guys live in Oklahoma and they basically stumble across a a clutch of dragons, and what do they do with them? Well, they want to sell them, but then they get attached to them, and then there's a gangster, there's a dragon hunter, there's a whole bunch of other fun stuff in it. It's just like very funny, but also brings in some kind of like serious stuff like opioid addiction and things like that too. So it was very well done. And the next one is And the Sky Fell. I really liked this one. The thing is, it needed some things to it. Like, I think a lot of my review was a more critique, but I really liked it. Like, I still gave it like 5 stars, and I thought it was fantastic. I loved the concept. I loved the writing. It had like a kind of a debut feel to it, where it's like, there's some things that could have been tightened. There's some things that could have been like reworked. It felt like there was too much going on, but I also really liked it. I really enjoyed it. And I don't know if it's a series or not. I think it's a standalone, but I would definitely read another book by the author. And lastly, my favorite book for the month was The Mountain Crown. I really loved this novella. I really, really, really loved it. I thought it was fantastic. It was so poignant and interesting, and the world building was so rich, and I loved the characters. I liked the take on the dragons. There was so much about it. It just had like so much going on, and I really recommend it if you want like a kind of a novella that's very fast to read but is serious but isn't like depressing, and it's so good. It's so good. Can't wait for the next one in the series. There's also 2 other books I want to talk about that came out last month, or this month. Well, what's today? The 1st, I guess, when I'm releasing this video. And these are 2 books. So I'm affiliated with the authors, so this is kind of like a little promo for them. The first is Elizabeth Sales. It's, you know how I feel about cruise ships? I hate cruise ships, but I will say that if you want a cozy mystery about a woman in her 30s, like learning to like kind of come into her own, this book is really cute. It's about, this woman who, so her great aunt dies, and the great aunt leaves her this kind of like scavenger hunt mystery on this cruise ship where she used to live. I guess she had a room there she lived in permanently. I don't know anything about cruise ships. So that this woman has to like leave the comforts of her like very, very safe life and travel to all these places on the cruise ship and find clues in different cities that the old aunt had left for her to find her will. If not, her greedy cousin is going to get all of the aunt's money and he's going to blow it all, where instead it's supposed to go to charity. So it's like kind of like one of those like, we need the real will situations. It's cute. I don't know. If you like that kind of thing, I think you'll really like it. Where do I put it? The next is My Darlings by Marie Still. This book is crazy. So it's like, I've never watched Desperate Housewives, but people compare it to that, in that it's kind of a satire on rich people in like DC region, like I guess the suburbs of DC. I don't know a lot about DC. I assumed it was just, I always think DC is just like the Capitol buildings, but I guess there's a whole area around it where people live. Anyway, so this rich lady, she lives there. She's a philanthropist. She's a mom. She's on the PTA, whatever that is in the States. And she's also a very insane serial killer. She's a complete psychopath, complete sociopath. There's kind of scenes about her past, and what I really liked about this is that nothing has made her this way. She's just a straight up born this way serial killer, and she enjoys what she does, and her only worry is getting caught. And so that's what's interesting about it. It's like a lot of times, especially with women serial killers, I find there has to be like a reason for why they were made this way. And I think a lot of I think a lot of it is nurture versus nature, but especially with a woman, it's kind of nice to see that no, women aren't naturally good and something's turned them bad. There's bad women out there, as we know. So I really like this. This book has a lot of content warnings. There's a lot of murder, obviously, in it. There is a scene of torture. There is a lot of, in her past, bullying. There's a lot of stuff. So it's a dark thriller. Do not read it if you have trigger warnings. A lot of them in your life, but if you like dark thrillers, you should totally check it out. Also, it's going to be a show on Amazon Prime. So if any other booktubers are watching this and kind of want to get on the jump, I could easily get you a copy to review if you want to do that. Because yeah, you can check that out. I think it was announced on one of those US Weekly things. But yeah, so cool. Now, what am I reading next month? Well, I've already read a few of them because, as I said, I have to get them ready. So next week is going to be Strange Week. That's because I'm going to be reviewing The Strange, which is a sci-fi western. It is set on Mars. It's basically like True Grit if they had colonized Mars somehow in the like late 1800s, early 1900s, and it's about this young girl. Her shop gets broken into by these outlaws, and so she gathers a weird crew and goes to go and get her stuff back. It's a lot more in depth than that. I really liked it. The audiobooks are great. So I'll be reviewing that next week. I'm also going to be reviewing next week Strange Love, which is a sci-fi romance. Yes, a woman and that guy. This book is so much fun. I just, yeah, if that'll be a not safe for work video because I'm going to talk about stuff, but no, that'll be a fun one to review. So yeah, those two first, and then I'm going to be talking about, look at my chart here, at a book called Suspension Bridge. I put it somewhere. Where did it go? I'm back. I found it. Suspension Bridge. Isn't that a beautiful cover? And this is a historical fiction mystery, a literary whodunit set in the unreliable 1962. Oh, an unreliable 1962. It's also a Canadian book. So I'm part of this I'm on this newsletter for this publicist called River Street Writing, and basically sometimes they say, oh, we have copies of these books, would you like to review them? And of course I always say yes, because I like to support indie small presses. And yeah, I'm looking forward to this one. I really like mysteries, and I also like historical fiction and also like Canadian stuff, so there we go. After that, I'm going to review Titan Shade, which is a fantasy novel. Look at this cover. I love this cover. I bought this book, I think, in December last year on BookBub, of course, because as you know, I'd buy that for $1. And it was totally worth $1. I will say that I finished it last night, and when I was filming, which was like a week ago probably. And I thought it was really good. So I'm going to be reviewing that. It's really fun. The cover is great. After that, I don't have it on my chart over there. That's what I keep looking at. I'm going to be reviewing Kindred, which is the Interstellar Book Club book by Octavia Butler. I've read a few Octavia Butler before, notably Dawn, because there was an alien human romance in that one. Not really a romance, but yeah. So I actually haven't read Kindred yet. And so I'm really excited because I haven't read an Octavia Butler in a while. I don't know if I'll do a classic sci-fi bingo post about it, because this is one we're going to do a live show about. But we'll see. We'll see. If not, then I'm going to do another classic sci-fi, and it's not going to be classic at all. I'm going to review Doom Hell on Earth, because I said last year I was going to read this year, and I'm going to do it because I need something stupid to read. And this looks like a lot of fun. It's part 2 of the 4 Doom books from the 90s. If you weren't aware those existed, you can check out my in my feed or my videos, you can check out my review of the first one. I had a lot of fun with it. Yeah. Another book that I'm listening to on audiobook right now actually is Assistant to the Villain. I might be squeezing that review in later in the month. It might just be the first week of December. And it's not going to be a teardown review, but it's definitely not going to be an I loved this review, in case you prefer those to my Gushes and Crushes reviews, which is 90% of what I review. I'm like, with it. I don't know. It's just too silly. Anyway, okay. I'm also going to be reading Wenemac Web, which is a novella from Murray Howlett, which is I read the last one last year. I can't remember what it's called because my memory is shot. I put it up here. I really liked it, and the author reached out to me and asked if I'd review the next one. I said, of course. So I'm going to be reviewing that. I'm also going to review There Will Never Be a Rainbow, which is a collection of fantasy horror stories by Rod Gilly. He has a channel on here. You can check him out. I read one of he had like a very, very short kind of 3-story collection that I reviewed last year, and he asked if I'd read this too. I'm like, sure, why not? And then I'm also going to be reviewing La Luda by Jeff Noon and Steve Beard. Look at this. They gave me a fancy one. Last time, so earlier in the year, February or maybe January, I reviewed Gog Magog, which is the first one. And this is, so they gave me this limited edition art copy, but I kind of wanted the colorful one, so now I have the colorful one at part 2, which is cool. So they'll still look nice on the shelf together, because the writing is still gold. I guess I didn't get an arc of Luda. I got the actual one. That's kind of cool. So I'm going to be reviewing that. I don't know yet if I'm going to be part of the tour for that. I hope I am, because I love being part of book tours. If not, I'm still going to review it at the end of the month. It comes out in December. And, so that's all I really have to say this month. Actually, no. I have one more thing I want to say. So, if you are a self published author and you don't want to do formatting, you don't like doing formatting, you don't want to pay for Atticus, you don't want to pay for Vellum, all this stuff, you don't really know what you're doing because this is your first time, email me below. My email is connected. I can do formatting for you for Ingram Spark, for Amazon, for EPUB, for anything that you need. As long as there's no footnotes and stuff, it's going to be pretty cheap. Email me, give me a quote. I do it all day at my job, and I just thought it'd be kind of fun with the holidays coming up. I could offer that out to people if they need any formatting services. So let me know. If not, that's cool. Keep watching my videos, and I hope you have a great November, and catch you next week with my reviews.